Hello from Lakeside Stadium, where spring has sprung, and so have the chances of a potential second tier in Australian soccer. Tonight's the inaugural match of the Australian Championship. It's an all-Greek affair where South Melbourne will host Sydney Olympic here at the Lakeside Stadium just behind me. And I'm looking out upon said lake as we speak. It's a gorgeous spring evening here in Melbourne. People jogging in the background, as you can see, and the crowd streaming into a stadium with plenty of heritage and plenty of history. South Melbourne, of course, missed out on one of the A-League licences a couple of years ago. They'll be hoping to use this tournament as a springboard to get into the top division at some stage or other. There's no promotion at the end of this tournament, but they are using it as a blueprint to explore promotion and relegation and have a genuine pyramid in Australian soccer. Both teams have had challenging seasons last season, but they'll definitely be looking to give themselves a second chance in this tournament come tonight and during the remaining 5 group games that they'll each play across the month of October and into November. South Melbourne were a really strong outfit in the NPL Victoria across the last couple of years. The marquee player was Harrison Sawyer, but of course he departed from Macarthur, one of the teams that got an A-League licence. They've struggled a little bit since, and so have Sydney Olympic, but both are used to silverware and both will fancy the chances this evening of drawing first blood in what is, as I say, an historic evening at Lakeside Stadium. It's half-time here at the Lakeside Stadium and we've got a game on our hands. Sydney Olympic scored the first goal of the Australian Championship. Nothing was really happening in the first sort of 5 or 10 minutes, apart from when a little bit of pressure, South Melbourne goalkeeper, poor clearance, and Ali Al-Ghal picked up the ball, shot from distance, about 38 metres out, and you'd probably argue the keeper should have done a little bit better. The caginess was kind of restored from there. I'd probably say Sydney Olympic controlled most of the game thereafter. But about a 35-38 minute mark, they managed to break the line, South Melbourne. Benita down the left, had green grass in front of him, and off he strode forward. He crossed the ball in for Jack Laval, got his feet tangled up a little bit, couldn't make much of the opportunity, other than to force the corner. That resulting corner bound Laval at the back post, and he lashed the volley with his left foot with some venom over the crossbar. Belief really lifted from South Melbourne at that point, and they kept plugging away, keeping the ball in the final third. And it was Yuki Yoshida who, a couple of minutes earlier, goal-mouth scramble, couldn't manage to tow one over the line as goalkeeper Jack Gibson smothered the ball. Anyway, he plugged away and he managed to grab the equaliser right on the stroke of half-time. So here we are at Lakeside Stadium. You can see it's gone a little bit darker. There's a little bit of wind swirling up in the air now, but it's 1-1 come the break, and this game is now anyone's for the taking. We're in the closing stages here, and I've got to say what an event it's been for, as I mentioned before, the inaugural game in the Australian Championship. You can hear the Hellas fans singing in the background. It's currently 3-2 as the game draws towards a close. If I just walk around the stadium tonight, it's just been a really nice atmosphere. There's families here, there's groups of teenage girls, groups of teenage boys, kids with their parents, young kids with the mums and dads, teenage parents with their mums and dads, people just relaxing, having a beer, and it's really nice that spring's hit Australia, but also that we've got such football to come out and watch at the same time. The jockey tunes going in the background with the Hellas fans, they're really in full voice now. It's really just a nice atmosphere to be a part of this evening, and a really good game in the end. I think, as I mentioned with the half-time update, it was a little bit tepid in the first half. Upon reflection though, South Melbourne have actually been really well organised. They conceded the early goal, but really they didn't really give away any chances outside of that. And there's the 3-2 whistle goal now. You can hear here's the final whistle goal now, and you can hear the Hellas crowd celebrating. 3-2 is the final result. As I was saying, in the first half, whilst they conceded that early goal, they didn't really look too rattled. They just sat in, got the shape together, and as I think about it, the only chances that Sydney Olympic really had were all long-range efforts. The 2 goals and a Ryan Furtz effort, who scored the second in the end, when he hit the post. After the break, South Melbourne definitely came out the more organised and the hungry of the two sides. It was Ollie Laval who went close a couple of times before the break that finally got his goal and his name on the team sheet. Bit of a goal-mouth scramble again, but a real forwards goal. Like he really made sure that the ball was his to be won and towed it over the line. Fair play to him. It's a goal on debut. And from there, South Melbourne really had most of the momentum, most of the control. As I say, Sydney Olympic didn't really look like they were going to threaten the South Melbourne goal apart from distance. And I think it was down to when that South Melbourne front three clicked. As I mentioned again at the half-time update, Benida, he had that foray down the left-hand side, and Yuki Yoshida was probably the best player for South Melbourne, certainly the most involved, posed the biggest threat, put the ball into the box 6 or 7 times and just asked questions of the Sydney Olympic defence and the goalkeeper, often putting it right between them and causing a little bit of confusion. So that made it 2-2. Ryan Furtz, as I said, hit the post, great effort, and his confidence was buoyed off the back of that. So he had another go, and what a great strike that was as well. Goal of the tournament so far, you might say, but of course it's only the first game. Anyway, as I was posting an update on Instagram about that, seconds later South Melbourne grabbed another goal. Yeah, lovely finish once again. Fell to Lampard, the fullback, just outside the box on the opposite corner. I think probably from the corner that preceded the move. And he set himself and he just pinged it right through the crowd and to the back post. You probably expect the keeper to save those, but if you watch it again, he just hits it so hard. Anyway, 3-2 on the first night of the Australian Championship here at Lakeside Stadium. And yeah, definitely up for more of these evenings across the next couple of weeks as this tournament starts to unfold.